this meeting to order. First item on the agenda, we're going to continue some items. So could I have a motion to continue to February 22nd, 2023, public hearing, notice of intent, Civil Design Consultants, Inc. of Andover, Massachusetts, DEP file number 305-1154 to that meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Skipping to agenda item F, public hearing, notice of intent, Cornerstone Land Associates LLC of Drake, Mass. On behalf of Taylor Gaudreau, 100 Breckenridge Road, Tewksbury, Mass. Assessors map 111, lot 68, DP file number not yet assigned. Could I have a motion to continue that to the January 25th, 2023 meeting?
So moved.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Agenda item H, public hearing, notice of intent, Hancock Associates of Danvers, Mass. On behalf of Cronin Shield Management Corporation of Marblehead, Massachusetts, Quail Run, Tewksbury, Mass. Assessors map 62, lot 15, DP file number 305-1171. Do I have a motion to continue that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Public hearing, notice of intent, John G. Crow Associates, Inc. of Bedford, New Hampshire, on behalf of Raytheon Technologies, Inc. of Andover, Massachusetts, 100 Apple Hill Drive, Tewksbury, Massachusetts, Assessors Map 38, Lot 2, DEP file number not yet assigned. Could I have a motion to continue that to January 25th, 2023?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right. And we'll likely be tabling this request for a certificate of compliance, AJM Developments, Inc., 15 Starbird Ave subdivision, DEP file number 305-998. If there's anybody here, I'm not seeing anybody, we will table that till the end. All right, agenda item C, request for a certificate of compliance, Adam Goldberg, Seafried Properties of Atlanta, Georgia, 495 Woburn Street, 40 Discovery Way, Tewksbury, Mass. Assessors map 1, lots 1 and 3, DEP file number 305-1112. Is there anybody here for that? Nobody? All right.
Got 1,000.
This might be a quick meeting. You guys don't have anything to say, right? So we will table that until the end. Agenda item D, public hearing. Request for determination of applicability, Greenham Peterson, Inc. of Wilmington, Mass. On behalf of the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, multiple locations along Main Street, Tewksbury, Mass. Is there anybody here for that? Could you please come up and explain what you would like to be doing? And introduce yourselves for the record.
Yes, absolutely. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission for having us tonight. Sam Campbell with Greenman Peterson, Inc. We are the design consultant for the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. I'll turn it over to my colleagues.
Alex Markey, Assistant Environmental Scientist. I work with Sam, Greenman Peterson.
I'm Courtney Walker. I'm an environmental analyst from Mass DOT.
All right, thank you. The
Yeah.
floor is yours.
Absolutely. So before I start, I do have a larger plan of the environmental resource areas here, but if the commissioners have their own copies, I think there's an easel there that we can. Yeah.
Do you
We can speak to the full-size plan. Thank you. Is there I'll angle it towards you folks so you can see it. Yep. We can share it with the audience.
Yeah, that, I believe that's the camera that you want to look at.
Okay. So as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, the project itself encompasses a total of 7 intersections along Route 38 in both Tewksbury and Lowell. However, this RDA is being submitted for only one of those locations where work is proposed within the riverfront area. And that location is the intersection of Route 38, which on this plan runs across the page, and Clark Road. So Along Route 38, there's numerous deficiencies in the existing condition. Primarily, the existing sidewalks at a lot of these intersections don't meet the current Americans with Disabilities Act and Architectural Access Board standards. There's either no pedestrian crossing pavement markings, or if they're present, they're not compliant with the current manual on uniform traffic control devices, or they've almost completely faded. There's no pedestrian signals in many locations, and a lot of the traffic signal equipment itself is pretty outdated and doesn't meet the current standards. So that's what this project seeks to address. Now, in order to address those issues, you can imagine a lot of the fixes are to just replace the traffic signal equipment with newer equipment, install pedestrian signals where they don't currently exist, and fix some of those sidewalks. Fixing to be minor widening to meet those ADA standards, and correct some of the pedestrian curb ramps so that they're actually accessible and not, puddles on the side of the road every time it rains. So here at Clark Road, on this plan in the northeast corner, that's where we have our work within the riverfront area. Now, the work within the riverfront area is going to result in 50 square feet of temporary alteration. So that's going to be temporary construction phase disturbance of existing lawn area is what we're looking at. That disturbance results from just construction phase site access. You've got a work crew traversing the area, installation of erosion and sedimentation controls, and then any sort of grading that they need to do to tie into the existing elevations from the back of the sidewalk. The project will also result in 16 square feet of permanent alteration. Now, that 16 square feet represents new impervious area associated with the construction of the sidewalk in that northeast corner. So just to point it out here, it's this sidewalk and pedestrian landing from the crosswalk across Clark Road. The stream boundary is here, and the riverfront area is displayed in the pink dashed line. The remainder of the work at this intersection is all within the footprint of the existing roadway. So it's existing paved areas that are just going to be, repaved, or new concrete sidewalk installed where there's already existing sidewalk that's, substandard. So that's the extent of the impacts. We have no work within bordering vegetated wetlands, land under water, or impacts to stream bank. As I mentioned, the majority of the work here is sited on previously developed areas, and erosion and sedimentation controls will be installed for the duration of the project to ensure that there's no migration of sediment or solids into the resource areas. And of course, those disturbed areas that I mentioned, the temporary impacts, will be stabilized with just a seed mix upon completion of the work here. So I think at this point, that's kind of the extent of the explanation of why we're filing this RDA, and I'd be happy to turn it over to the commission and answer any questions that you may have.
All right. Anybody have any questions or comments?
So permanent is 6 square feet?
16.
16?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's actually pretty good. I mean, we need the new
Yeah.
sidewalks and stuff. in town.
Well, this essentially has to be done.
No-brainer. Now, are they gonna keep the lights the same, or are they gonna change the signals?
So the signal equipment will be replaced. I believe there are some modifications to the timing to alleviate some of the.
That was gonna be my question, the timing.
Yeah, so I'm not a traffic engineer. I don't know exactly how they're changing it, but I know that the new signals are optimized to better pass cars through the intersection and try to reduce some of those queue lengths that you see
It's
on
one of the
38.
worst intersections in town, so any improvements, I think.
Yeah,
are a good idea.
I hesitate to say that this is the magic fix-all, but it'll definitely be an improvement over what's out there now. I think at least Alexa and I took 38 to get here tonight from Wilmington, and it was pretty backed up, and we even saw an accident. So, it's definitely a project that is probably overdue. So we're glad to see it moving forward. And as far as timeline goes, just so you're all aware, the anticipated advertisement date is in spring of '24, or spring '24? I think it's, spring '23. I'm already jumping a year ahead. So this spring, they'll advertise the project, and it's anticipated that the construction will be complete by 2024. So
All right.
if all goes according to plan, which again, for something as relatively simple as new signals and pedestrian crossings, it should be done within a year.
And are you just going to be working your way down from each intersection? You're not jumping around or anything?
Yeah, so it's, that kind of falls under the contractor means and methods, and we can't exactly guarantee, but I would assume the most logical way to do it would be for them to just pick one end and work their way down the corridor. If they encounter issues at a specific location and have to go back, they will, but I would anticipate one intersection at a time. They won't choke up the whole corridor with construction work all at once.
Anything
I
else?
don't have anything.
Very straightforward.
Yeah, it's just,
You just want to read?
Yeah, I'm gonna, I promised our conservation agent I would read this all out loud.
Okay.
If we issue a negative determination, the following conditions apply. Install and maintain sediment controls, which shall include a properly entrenched silt fence and/or staked straw wattles around the area of construction as to prevent the deposition of sediment from construction activities into nearby wetland resource areas. Sediment controls shall remain in place until all areas of disturbed loose soil and other erodible materials have been stabilized at the site. Prior to construction, sediment controls shall be established and appropriate photos showing the installed sediment controls at the intersection of Clark Road and Main Street shall be sent to the conservation agent. Any issues with any of that?
No, I think we're willing to accept all those conditions and will modify our contract documents to ensure that the contractor follows through with that.
Awesome. All right, if that's the case, let me just find this. All right, so, oh, wait, actually, this is a public hearing, so I will give the public some time to come up and ask any questions, but not seeing anybody, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And, all right, could I have a motion for a negative determination of applicability for Greenman Peterson, Inc. of Wilmington, Mass. On behalf of the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, multiple locations along Main Street, Tewksbury, Mass., as discussed at this meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And just for the record, the determination can be mailed to the address that I believe the agent has on file for us. Yeah, thank you.
He'll
Great.
be in contact with you, I'm sure.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning. We'll have a follow-up, I'm sure. So thank you all and good luck with the rest of your agenda items. Would you like me to break this down or?
You just leave
Yeah,
it there
that
for the time being, just in case anyone else needs to use it.
All right. Next item on the agenda is public hearing, notice of intent, David Dillon, 100 Terramore Drive, Tewksbury, Massachusetts, Assessors Map 33, Lot 75, DEP file number 305-1173. Please come up and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Dave Dillon from 100 Terramore Drive. Sorry, first time being here and doing one of these things, so forgive me. So the notice of intent that I submitted was for our new home that we built on Terramore Drive. A portion of the southwestern corner is in conservation land. So we want to build a fence and also install a shed in that area. The determination of the shed is, I think you all have a picture that I gave to the conservation officer. In the corner where the conservation land is, but it's kind of undetermined. It'll be outside of the 25-foot buffer zone, but we're hoping we can have it inside the 50-foot buffer zone, even though it's no build zone. We know that. Unfortunately, most of our property is 50-foot no build zone, so it's hard to find a spot for it, and we'd like to have a shed. On top of that, we're also looking at a future installation of a pool and a patio area, along with some tree removal of some pretty ratty-looking dead trees on the back side of the property. That's what the application's for.
All right, any questions or comments from the commission? Give everybody-
Is the pool planned on being an above ground or in ground?
So that's undecided. I think when I put in the application with It was in-ground at the time. I think we'd like to keep it that way unless it was a real heartache to get that through.
This is the 100-foot buffer on the plan? No.
It is, it's kind of hard to see in the
Oh, it's that
drawing.
gray line?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the gray line.
the other one,
I highlighted the 25 in red and the
Yeah.
50 in yellow, and the gray line further out is the 100-foot.
I see. I
yeah,
see,
we have two plot plans, and the one that's a image is, I think, more accurate. The one that you have right there is more accurate, but you can see the
Yeah,
lines better on the other one.
Yeah.
So it looks like the pool position's slightly different between the two versions?
Yeah, sorry. I did the best I could with the limited tools I have. It's an approximate location. We'd have to respect the setback on the northern side of the property, and we'd probably try to hug that as best we could with the pool.
Yeah.
So a portion of it could be outside the 100-foot, but I would assume a portion of it would end up inside the 100-foot as well.
Yeah, my only comment would be if it's an in-ground pool and it's within the 100-foot buffer, it'll just be additional erosion control measures will have to be put into place to make sure
Okay.
that disturbance of the ground doesn't go into the wetlands,
Okay.
besides what Dan's gonna read.
Yeah, I'm gonna read a lot, so, and this is your first time, so
All
don't
right.
be afraid.
I'm ready.
to contact Joseph, don't,
Yeah, sure.
So that's my only big comment. I know the shed's 12 by 16 and it goes above the 10%, but
Yeah.
I'm okay with it on this project personally.
I don't
As
believe,
long as it doesn't
It's-
go
I
within
think
the
it's-
25-foot
I
buffer.
think it's just under the
It's
10%.
under the 10%.
Yeah,
Okay.
under the 10% of the
of the
buffer.
50-foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the 50-foot was 2,000 square feet or something like
50
that.
foot is 2,214 square feet.
Yeah.
The shed's 192 square feet,
Right.
so you're allowed 221 square feet. So he meets that threshold.
And do you know what type of shed you're gonna have or anything?
We haven't we wanted to get this approved first before we done the research and put money down and things like that, so we haven't gotten that far yet.
I would prefer if it's, not pouring concrete and.
Oh, no.
Just something you can place down and
Yeah.
let water infiltrate the.
Right, I think
soil.
the plan was gravel bed
All right.
to put the shed on. Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments?
I just have one more question. Within the 50 foot on the tree removal, how many trees are in that?
So I don't know if Joe included the picture. I sent him a picture that had red dots on trees to indicate what trees are going to be removed. Essentially, it's, I'll say, 9 or 10, but none are very large and most of them are dead. So a lot of them look like they've got disease or they're arching over heading towards our house, which is kind of scary. And none of them are large, healthy looking
You can
trees.
see
from
they're
my-
not that healthy looking, but looks like 6 here.
Yeah, there's 2 images. There's I pan left and pan right for the 2 pictures. I think there's about 9 or 10 in total.
But looks like there's about 3, which are small, that are in the 50 foot no disturb zone. The others are all outside the 50 foot.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I just wanted to be fully transparent, make sure,
Yeah.
everything's documented.
I have no issues.
All right, all right, so before I open it up to the public, I will read that you are okay with the following conditions. Standard conditions, number 1 through 4, and number 9 through 19. And then special conditions, to install and maintain erosion and sediment controls, which shall include a properly entrenched silt fence and/or staked straw wattles around the area of construction as to prevent the deposition of sediment from construction activities into nearby wetland resource areas. ESCs shall remain in place until all areas of disturbed and loose soil and other erodible materials have been stabilized at the site. Prior to any construction activities commencing, the following must be completed. ESCs shall be installed by the applicant or an agent of the applicant, and the conservation agent shall inspect and approve the installed ESCs. Soil stockpiles shall be covered and properly secured whenever not in use. Soil stockpiles shall be surrounded with a silt fence and/or straw wattle. If dewatering is necessary from the excavation pit for the installation of the in-ground pool, water from the excavation pit shall be appropriately pumped to the dewatering location depicted on the approved plan. The water shall be appropriately filtered through an appropriately sized filter bag prior to being discharged onto the ground. The appropriately sized filter bag shall be surrounded by a silt fence or straw wattle. Upon completion of construction activities and in order to receive a certificate of compliance, an as-built must be submitted that shows all construction features being proposed under this application relative to the wetland boundary. The as-built must show the proximity with accurate measurements of said structures to nearby wetlands and must also show the extent of land clearing, e.g. showing where the final tree line or unaltered vegetation line is after construction activities are completed. The request for a certificate of compliance shall be accompanied by photographs of the completed construction. Pool water shall not be discharged into the nearby wetland areas. The Conservation Commission has approved the removal of approximately 15 plus or minus a few trees as depicted within the provided photographs showing which trees are anticipated to be removed. So if you have any questions, Joe is always available to, if any concerns about the straw wattles, some people don't quite know what those are. It's just the,
We actually have them on the property.
Oh, all right,
From
awesome.
It's a new construction house, so there's already a lot of elements in place for the
You can tell them
construction.
not to take them? They'll come in and take them out on you. you know.
Oh, they left them, I'll have to make sure to say that.
yeah, and then just like with the pool, sometimes when you have to get rid of all the water, if you drain it, don't pour it into the wetlands.
Of course.
It has to go into your lawn essentially.
Okay.
But if you're okay with that, then I will open it up to the public. If they're,
Speaking of the public, Mr. Jim, was a butters notice sent out?
Yes.
It was, I just can't find the transmittal for me.
They're hand delivered because it's a new development, Terramore Drive, and almost all the houses were owned still by AMG Development, so I only had to give them to like 2 direct neighbors.
Okay.
They've got other in-ground pools up there?
Yes, yeah,
Because I know the land is pretty high water table.
yes. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
all right, this is a public hearing. So anybody who wants to come up and speak, now is the time to do so, but not seeing anybody. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion to approve the notice of intent for David Dillon, 100 Terramore Drive, Tewksbury, Massachusetts, Assessors Map 33, Lot 75, DEP file number 305-1173, as discussed at this meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And welcome.
Thanks.
All right. Next is agenda item G, public hearing, notice of intent, civil design consultants on behalf of Ronnie Martell, Fraser Lane paving project, DEP file number 305-1157. Could you please introduce yourself for the record?
Good evening, Bill Hall with Civil Design Consultants, representing the applicant for this notice of intent. So this is a bit of a unique situation here. What we have is an existing site that's a partially complete subdivision that was permitted under a now expired order of conditions. The roadway's been paved to binder course. All the drainage basins and stormwater structures, all that's been installed. All the wetland replication areas have been installed for this. It's approximately 3,700 feet of paved roadway. There's a couple wetland crossings that were associated with the construction. And as I mentioned, that's all done and replication installed. And there's also a certified vernal pool located in lots 17 through 19. And what we're looking to do is have this road accepted as a public way, because right now it hasn't been accepted yet. And in order to do that, the DPW has requested a few items be done to accept it. So what we'll be doing within the buffer zone is repairing sections of binder course as required by inspection, once the DPW does that. We're gonna be removing and replacing concrete berms, excuse me, bituminous concrete berms along the roadway wherever that's required. Again, it'll be inspected, they'll determine where we need to remove, replace. And we're gonna install the wearing course of the pavement, the finished course of pavement along the entire roadway. And raising catch basin rims and all that's associated with doing that. And then as far as the stormwater structures, the detention basins, all of that, that's just gonna be maintained per their operation and maintenance plan. But that's all we're looking to do, trying to get this accepted and paved.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission?
No, the road's already there.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you're changing stormwater basins too?
Just maintaining them.
Just maintaining?
Yeah, so if there's any sediment in them, or if they need to be mowed, things like that, yeah.
So basically what you're gonna do is just pave the road?
Yep.
Okay.
they're gonna put the final coat on and raise everything up where it needs to be.
Great. Anything else? Any other questions or comments before I read the thing I just read over again? All right.
Can you say ditto?
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to read these and we can discuss if you have any issues with it before I open it up to the standard conditions, number 1 through number 4, and number 9 through number 19, and special conditions to install and maintain sediment controls which shall include a properly entrenched silt fence of 12 inches diameter compost filter tube around the area construction as to prevent the deposition of sediment from construction activities into nearby wetland resource areas. Sediment controls shall remain in place until all areas of disturbed loose soil and other erodible materials have been stabilized at the site. Alternative equivalent sediment controls may be approved by the conservation agent. Prior to any construction activities commencing, the following must be completed. Sediment controls shall be installed by the applicant or an agent of the applicant, and the conservation agent shall inspect and approve of the installed sediment controls. Silt sacks shall be installed in all catch basins within a Conservation Commission jurisdictional area. And soil stockpiles located in a Conservation Commission jurisdictional area shall be covered and properly secured whenever not in use. Soil stockpiles shall be surrounded with a silt fence and/or straw wattle. Any issues with those?
Nope, that's fine.
Awesome. All right, this is a public meeting, so I will open up to the public, but not seeing anybody else in this room. I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion to approve the notice of intent civil design consultants on behalf of Arnie Martell Fraser Lane paving project, DEP file number 305-1157 as discussed at this meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So, we'll go back to agenda item B. And we went through this pretty fast, but I guess they
No, it
could
is
have
what
been
it
here
is.
by now, so. Yeah. Could I have a motion to continue request for certificate of compliance, AJM Development, Inc., 15 Starboard Ave subdivision, DEP file number 305-998 to the next available meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion to continue request for certificate of compliance, Adam Goldberg, Seafried Properties of Atlanta, Georgia, 495 Woburn Street, 40 Discovery Way, Tewksbury, Massachusetts, Assessors Map 1, lots 1 and 3, DB file number 305-1112 to the next available meeting.
So moved.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And I guess we don't have an agent today, so I don't have any old business. If anybody wants to bring up any old business or new business, don't have.
The only thing I have is if we can have the conservation agent reproduce item A.
All
That's
right.
been going on for a year,
Yeah.
and I don't have any more information.
I'm hoping that because they requested to continue to not just the next meeting, but a specific meeting in February, that's an indication that they will actually be coming and maybe we can close on it. But yeah, I think it's a good idea that we have that information back because it's been so long.
Yeah, because you're gonna be providing new information, but I want to compare it to the old.
All right, yeah.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, anything else, old business, new business, admins, reports, or could I entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next meeting will be January 25th, 2023.